Welcome to Recaply X. Your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists. In minutes, the movie begins in 1985 with a lighthouse keeper named Tom. At that time, Tom sees a woman unconscious on the beach. It was clear that the woman was injured, so Tom takes her to his house. When the woman regains consciousness, she tells Tom that her name is Atlanta. She is the queen of the legendary underwater kingdom of Atlantis. She escaped the kingdom because they forced her to marry King Orvax. After hearing her story, Tom sympathizes with her and lets her stay with him. Over time, the two fall in love and have a son named Arthur. Atlanta hopes her son will unite the kingdom of Atlantis and the human world. The family lives happily until soldiers from Atlantis attack them. They aim their weapons at Atlanta, demanding she return to Atlantis. Atlanta refuses to obey, fights them off, and kills the soldiers with her trident. Knowing Atlantis will keep sending soldiers to retrieve her, Atlanta decides to return to Atlantis and marry King Orvax to protect Tom and Arthur, promising Tom she will return to him. She leaves them and dives into the water. Years later, Arthur is in elementary school. During a school trip to the aquarium, Arthur's superpowers emerge for the first time. He is seen staring at the fish, showing his love for them and communicating with them. Two bullies approach Arthur, mocking him for talking to fish. Suddenly, a shark and other fish become agitated to the point where the shark almost breaks the glass to protect Arthur from the bullies. Arthur calms the fish, which then submit to him. Arthur's classmates are amazed by what they see, and from that moment, they nickname him Aquaman. As Arthur grows older and becomes a teenager, Atlanta sends someone she trusts, named Vulko, to teach Arthur skills like swimming and combat. Vulko trains Arthur and improves his abilities. However, Arthur despises the kingdom of Atlantis, knowing they executed his mother for having a relationship with a human and bearing his child. Years later, pirates attack a Russian submarine. The leader of the pirates is named Cain, and his son is David. Initially, the pirates' plan goes smoothly. They kill the submarine captain and take control of the vessel. Suddenly, something powerful strikes the submarine, terrifying the pirates. It turns out to be Arthur, who lifts the entire submarine to the surface with his strength. Arthur enters the submarine, easily defeating the pirates. He frees the Russian naval soldiers trapped inside. David fights Arthur, trying to kill him, but he doesn't know Arthur is a superhero. Even swords can't harm Arthur or pierce his skin. Arthur overpowers David. Cain intervenes, firing a missile at Arthur, but even bullets and explosives don't affect him. Arthur retaliates, pinning Cain to the wall with a metal rod. As Arthur is about to leave, Cain fires another shot, but the missile hits the submarine, causing a leak. A large device falls on Cain's leg, immobilizing him. David begs Arthur to save his father, but Arthur refuses, saying they are evil people, and leaves. Cain orders David to escape quickly before the submarine sinks, telling him to live and avenge him. David initially refuses to leave his father, but Cain activates a bomb to force David to escape. David escapes, and after the explosion kills Cain, David vows to avenge his father by defeating Aquaman. The scene shifts to the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. Two kings, Orm and Nereus, are seen. They rule different kingdoms and are meeting at a place called the Gathering of the Seven Kings. It is revealed that the seven kingdoms were once united under one king named Atlan. Orm is Arthur's half-brother, being the son of King Orvax and Queen Atlanta. Orm talks to Nereus, suggesting they unite again and declare war on humans, blaming them for polluting the oceans with their waste, causing significant harm to the ocean's inhabitants. Nereus mentions that some kingdoms, like Brine, won't agree to unite. He also brings up rumors that Atlanta married a human and had a child with him, which might prevent the seven kingdoms from uniting, as Arthur, the eldest son, is the rightful heir. Suddenly, a submarine fires a missile at them, injuring several soldiers. Orm retaliates, destroying the submarine. After this attack, Nereus agrees to ally with Orm against the humans. It is revealed that David orchestrated the attack to avenge his father's death, believing Aquaman resides there. Later, soldiers from Atlantis confront David, learning about his motives. Orm tells David that Aquaman is not one of them, giving David a gold package to form an alliance. The scene shifts to Arthur, who is leaving a bar, helping his drunk father into a car. A woman named Mira from Atlantis appears. Mira is Orm's fiancée. She informs Arthur about the events in Atlantis, urging him to go there and talk to Orm to stop the war he plans to wage against humans. The war would result in innocent casualties among humans and Atlanteans. She tells Arthur he has the right to stop the war, as Atlanna's eldest son and rightful heir to the throne. However, Arthur refuses to go to Atlantis, vowing to take revenge on the kingdom for his mother's death. Arthur drives away, noticing a large number of birds fleeing the ocean. It turns out a massive tsunami is approaching the city. Arthur is shocked and tries to escape, but the tsunami hits his car, throwing him into the air and separating him from his father. Fortunately, Mira appears, saving Arthur's father by removing the water from his lungs. Arthur thanks Mira for her help, but she warns him that the tsunami was Orm's doing and is just the beginning. She warns of more disasters to come. The next day, the news reports on the previous day's disasters, revealing hundreds of human casualties, numerous destroyed buildings, and the tsunami washing ocean waste onto the shore. After witnessing the devastation, Arthur decides to accompany Mira to Atlantis to confront Orm and stop the war. On their way, Arthur is surprised by the beauty of the kingdom of Atlantis because it was his first time visiting the kingdom. From their conversation, we learn that Mira is the daughter of King Nereus. Mira takes Arthur to meet Vulko, who tells Arthur that he must take the throne from Orm because he is the rightful heir. Vulko also reveals that Orm has allied with 2 other kingdoms to attack humans. He tells Arthur that he must find a weapon called the Trident, a spear considered the greatest and most powerful weapon in the waters, as it allows its wielder to control all sea creatures. With this weapon, Arthur could become king, and no one would be able to oppose him. The Trident originally belonged to King Atlan. Vulko recounts how, in the past, the 7 kingdoms were united, and Atlantis was an advanced civilization with technology that progressed daily. However, their arrogance led to one of their devices spiraling out of control, killing hundreds of Atlanteans and causing chaos. The kingdom collapsed and sank into the ocean. At the same time, the malfunctioning device gave them the ability to live underwater. King Atlan disappeared, and the Trident was never seen again. Vulko shows Arthur a relic he found in the kingdom of the deserters, explaining that it might lead them to King Atlan so Arthur can claim the Trident. Suddenly, Atlantean soldiers attack them, having discovered Arthur's presence. Vulko and Mira flee quickly, because if it were discovered that they brought Arthur into the kingdom, they would face a military trial. Arthur fights the soldiers alone, and realizes that any weapon can harm him in Atlantis. Despite his efforts, Arthur is outnumbered, defeated, and taken captive. In the next scene, Arthur is chained and furious. Orm, his half-brother, appears and insults him, accusing humans of destroying the seas and oceans for years. Orm declares his intent to wage war against them, but Arthur refuses to allow it. Arthur challenges Orm to a duel, stating that if Orm loses, he must stop the war, and if Arthur loses, he won't interfere with Orm's plans. Confidently, Orm accepts the challenge, and they prepare to fight in the Ring of Fire. Before the battle begins, Arthur learns that Mira is Orm's fiancée, which upsets him. Arthur enters the arena, where the audience boos him, viewing him as a traitor and an illegitimate heir. The fight begins, and at first, their strength is evenly matched. Arthur nearly kills Orm by throwing him into the volcanic lava, but Orm saves himself at the last moment. Orm retaliates with great force, breaking Arthur's spear. Left defenseless, Arthur is about to be killed when Mira intervenes, attacking Orm and saving Arthur. She helps Arthur escape on a ship, sacrificing her reputation for his sake. Orm's soldiers pursue them, firing at their ship and causing significant damage. Mira and Arthur narrowly escape the volcanic lava by abandoning the ship at the last second and diving into the water. They encounter some whales, and Arthur communicates with one, asking to hide inside its mouth to evade their pursuers. The plan works, and Orm, seeing Mira's burning ship, assumes they have died. Arthur and Mira emerge from the water and head to the kingdom of the deserters, as Vulko had mentioned. Mira is unaware that the bracelet she wears is a tracking device, which allows Orm to discover their location and confirm they are alive. Orm orders his soldiers to follow and kill them, but King Nereus warns that if his daughter is harmed, their alliance will be broken. In the next scene, Orm's soldiers meet David, to whom Orm has sent advanced weapons and a suit to fight Arthur. The weapons are powerful enough to kill Arthur. David, thrilled with the opportunity to avenge himself against Arthur, tests and upgrades the weapons. Meanwhile, Mira and Arthur locate the kingdom of the deserters. Mira, unfamiliar with parachutes, jumps from the plane, and Arthur follows her. They wander the desert unsuccessfully until Arthur falls into a pit, which turns out to be the entrance to the kingdom they were searching for. Inside, they find a strange-looking table. Mira places the relic they obtained from Vulko on it, but nothing happens. Realizing they need water, Mira uses Arthur's sweat to activate the relic. The plan works, and a recorded message from King Atlan appears. King Atlan speaks of the trident, providing clues to its location and instructing them to travel to the ends of the world to find it in the hidden sea. A bottle containing a map appears, which only the true king can interpret. Arthur and Mira take the bottle and map and leave. They travel to Italy, following the map's directions. Initially, they struggle to solve the puzzle, but Arthur recalls King Atlan's words about the true king being able to see through the bottle. Arthur, familiar with ancient Roman kings, deduces that Romulus, the first king of Rome, is the key. Placing the bottle before Romulus's statue, Arthur discovers their next destination, the hidden sea. However, they are ambushed by Orm's soldiers, accompanied by David, who is now equipped with Atlantis' advanced weapons. David, now a formidable opponent, injures Arthur in a fierce battle. Despite Arthur's efforts, David's upgraded suit and weapons give him the upper hand. Fortunately, David's suit malfunctions, causing him to lose control and fall into the water. And at the same time, Mira was fighting the soldiers of Orm, and she managed to defeat them all after discovering that the soldiers could only breathe underwater. Afterward, she went to Arthur, who was very tired and injured, and he told Mira to destroy the bracelets she had because they were being used to track her location. Mira listened to him and broke them. Then they boarded a vehicle and headed toward the hidden sea, encountering a new storm and terrifying water monsters. Arthur and Mira fought them, but there were too many monsters, so they both had to hide in the ship. Arthur found a flare and lit it, discovering that the monsters were afraid of bright light. He lit another flare, and he and Mira went underwater to search for the trident weapon. They discovered that they had reached a kingdom called the Trench Kingdom, which was filled with terrifying and savage monsters. This was the kingdom where Arthur's mother had been killed. Thousands of monsters chased them, but a strong light source appeared underwater, causing the monsters to stop their pursuit. The light source was an underwater thunderstorm. Arthur and Mira tried to enter the storm, but it was very strong and threw Mira far away, rendering her unconscious. A giant creature appeared, and as it was about to attack Mira, someone struck the creature and saved her. This person took Mira away. Arthur managed to pass through the storm and reached the hidden sea that Vulko had told him about. The person who saved Mira turned out to be Atlanta, who was revealed to still be alive. She met Arthur and embraced him after all the years they had been apart. Atlanta explained how she survived the storm after the people of Atlantis threw her to the trench monsters to be eaten. She reached the hidden sea and lived there for 20 years. Atlanta told Arthur the location of the trident weapon, which was behind a waterfall. However, the problem was that a legendary monster named Carathan guarded the weapon and would not allow anyone to take it. Arthur was undeterred and entered the waterfall, finding the trident in the hands of King Atlan's skeleton. Just as he was about to take it, the giant monster Carathan appeared and attacked Arthur. Arthur tried to escape and grab the weapon quickly, but Carathan gave him no chance and continued to attack. The monster was indeed powerful, but Arthur did not give up and kept trying. The monster was about to kill him, but Arthur used his power to communicate with it. Carathan was shocked because no one had ever been able to understand its language except King Atlan. At that moment, Carathan allowed Arthur to take the trident. Arthur succeeded and emerged with the most powerful weapon, which enabled him to control the entire ocean and the kingdom of Atlantis. On the other side, Orm had managed to unite 3 other kingdoms and was preparing to invade the 4th kingdom, known as the Brine Kingdom. Orm wanted to gather as many kingdoms as possible to attack humans. However, the Brine Kingdom refused to join Orm, leading to a fierce battle between the 2 kingdoms. The battle was intense, but Orm's army was stronger and larger, allowing him to dominate the fight. In a short time, Orm won the battle and was about to kill the king of the Brine Kingdom when the monster Carathan appeared and attacked Orm's army. It turned out that Arthur had ordered Carathan to do so. Arthur also controlled the monsters of the Trench Kingdom, which attacked Orm's army. All the kings were shocked to see Arthur holding the trident weapon, and even more surprised that he had united the entire Trench Kingdom on his side. Arthur easily controlled Orm's army, ending the war between the 2 forces. However, the conflict between Arthur and Orm was not over. They both emerged to the surface to face each other again, after Orm had defeated Arthur the last time. The kings witnessed the battle, which was more intense and fierce than before. At first, Arthur struggled in his fight against Orm because Orm was strong. However, Arthur used the moves he had learned from Vulko and managed to defeat Orm, breaking his spear. Orm asked Arthur to kill him, but Arthur refused to kill his brother. Atlanna appeared and told them to stop fighting. Orm was shocked to see that his mother was still alive. Vulko then appeared with soldiers and ordered them to arrest Orm because he had been a tyrannical and unjust king. Arthur became the king of Atlantis, and all 7 kingdoms came under his rule. The people of Atlantis accepted Arthur as their new king. Atlanna later reunited with her husband, Tom, and they gathered as a family once again. Later, we saw that David, Arthur's old enemy, was still alive. He had been saved by a doctor and scientist named Stephen, who was obsessed with the legendary kingdom of Atlantis. David promised Stephen that he would take him to Atlantis, but only if Stephen helped him find Aquaman. The